I saw this truck initially on Craigslist, and it was listed for $22,000, even with the front end damage. I was intrigued, but that was nowhere close to my budget, even though it was probably a fair price. Over the months and years, I saw the price drop, but still I made no effort to contact the seller. Then the ad was just gone. I assumed it had been sold. A few months later, the ad came up again on Craigslist for $9,500 with the words "make an offer." I thought, wow, that's pretty low, so I gave the number a call. Mary answered, and I asked if I could talk to her husband. She said she could answer any question I had. I started out asking, how long have you owned the truck? Mary said they owed it for like 70 years since it was first sold. Her husband Blake bought it as an 18-year-old. I then asked if the engine ran, and Mary said no, but it should be able to start. Then I asked because of the accident, did it have a salvage title? And I've always been very adamant about not buying cars with salvage titles due to the difficulty to insure and not really knowing if things were repaired correctly. Mary assured me it had a clean title. So I made arrangements to come up in a couple days to look at the truck. I was a little surprised when I looked on a map, and it said it was 4 hours away. So I decided to take the Infinity for the first trip. The truck was in their garage, and I could see they were trying to sell the house. I looked at the truck, and although it had front-end damage, the engine had not been hit. The tips of the frame rail was bent, but did not look like enough to tweak the frame. Her husband, Blake, had been an accomplished architect, but was now suffering from Alzheimer. I think he had no idea his wife was selling his beloved truck. It was a good deal, but I talked Mary down to $8,500. So a deal was struck, and we shook hands on it. I agreed to come back the following week with my truck and trailer and $8,500 cash. I was so excited to get the 57 GMC onto the trailer and paid Mary. It took much longer to get home, this time driving a truck with a very heavy trailer. After I got home, the next day, I went to DMV to get the truck in my name. I was literally shocked when the lady said it's got a salvage title. I stopped in my tracks. I went outside to call Mary, and she sounded surprised too. I told her I would be bringing the truck back the next day, and she agreed to give me my cash back. Later that evening, Mary called and apologized profusely, and wondering if she could give me a discount would I still keep the truck. She said she would give me $4,000 back. I said, let me sleep on that. The next day, I agreed to go forward, and I would be going back next week to get the flatbed. Upon arriving, Mary gave me the money with another bill of sale. Blake was to help me load the flatbed with his tractor. As I watched him start the tractor, but could not figure out how to lift the bucket or shift into any gear, I told Mary I'll just winch it onto the trailer. Mary asked me when I would come back to take the other truck. I need it all gone. I did not know this was a part of the deal. As I was looking at yet another trip, Blake told me this 56 GMC was a wreck comparted to his 57 GMC in the garage, not realizing it was in my garage. I came back a week later to pick up the donor 56 GMC, and that's how I got the trucks to create my 1957 GMC project.